I am Danielle, and I am an audiobook narrator, and right now I am live narrating Annette Mori's The Love Demand, which is a sapphic romance. So thanks for hanging out with me. Okay, they were usually setting them up after the sun had set. Summer was just around the corner, and this would no longer be a factor. She might suggest separate tents when the opportunity presented itself. "Got it," Jamie exclaimed as she pulled the powerful lamp from the pile of gear and turned it on to shed light on their campsite. "Jamie?" The soft voice called out, shock dripping from that one word. The soft voice called out, shock dripping from that one word. She would recognize that voice anywhere. Jamie turned around slowly and blub. Jamie turned around slowly and looked into Lacey's confused eyes. Sadness hung on the corners as her lashes glistened in the dim light. Jamie dropped the tent and the dam broke. She ran to Lacey, who automatically opened her arms. "Goddess, I thought I was seeing a mirage." "You're back?" she whispered. It was a question more than a statement. "When? Why didn't you call?" They held each other, and it had never felt so right to Jamie. "I was waiting for you to call." "Sabina?" Lacey asked, finally breaking her hold on Jamie as she looked into her eyes, presumably searching for some truth that could only be seen in Jamie's eyes. Jamie shook her head, then noticed the attractive and very fit woman approaching. "Hey, I thought this was your first outing with this group. Don't tell me you work that fast." Jamie then noted a petite woman with red hair approach and smile at the small group. Could this be Heather? And who was the first woman? Jamie scanned the area, looking for a toddler. "Is this Heather?" "Where's Jeremy?" Jamie asked. Lacey chuckled nervously. No. Emily is my workout partner." She pointed to the woman who looked like she lived in a gym. "And Sarah is a nurse at the same hospital I work at, but she came with Emily. I'm their tag-along," she joked, then turned serious. "Heather was basically a tourist in lesbian land, and lesbian land. I need to make that D a little more strong. Also, water is helpful. Oh, and if you guys want to chat or you have questions or anything, feel free to put them in the chat and I will look through it in between chapter breaks or when I mess up and have to stop. Okay, Heather was a stop. Let's see. Heather was basically a tourist in lesbian land and never would have moved here. I suppose growing up in Ruby Red, West Virginia had too much of an effect on her. She got back with her ex and dropped me like yesterday's garbage. I cried my eyes out, but not for her. I loved that little guy to pieces. It broke my heart to know that I'd never see him again. It was one of the stipulations her ex-husband made before reuniting. Lacey shrugged, trying to play off her hurt, but Jamie could see how that had destroyed Lacey. Jamie punched her shoulder playfully. "You could have called, you know. After all the times I whined and cried on your shoulder, the least I could do was be your rock." Jamie had nearly forgotten about Chloe when, almost casually, she strolled over. Who's your new friends?" Chloe asked. Jamie heard Emily whisper, "Is that the Jamie?" Jamie smiled to herself. So Lacey had talked about her with Emily. She wasn't sure if that was a good thing or bad thing. This is Lacey, the person I met on... Oh, I'm gonna do that again. This is Lacey, the person I met when I was on the Love Demand. And these are her friends, Emily and Sarah. Each lifted a hand in greeting as Jamie said their names. Chloe, she offered a wave. You're the newbies I saw on the list. It's so great that you decided to join us for this trip. You're going to love this group. We're a very welcoming and friendly bunch with a mix of singles and couples. Jamie saw Lacey's eyes travel to the campsite where Chloe had unfurled the one tent Jamie had dropped on the ground before running to Lacey. She looked between Chloe and Jamie could almost see her wheels turning. Are you and Chloe together? Lacey asked. Goodness, no. Hey, Chloe playfully pushed against Jamie. I'm standing right here. You don't have to say that like I have a venereal disease or something. Jamie felt her face flush. I didn't mean it like that. But you know I'm still licking my wounds after Sabina and I split. Chloe's been a good friend. The hurt on Lacey's face landed like an arrow straight to her heart. Damn, I just keep fucking everything up. Lacey quickly recovered and plastered a smile on her face. I'm glad someone could be there for Jamie. I'm a little rusty putting together a tent. Sorry, I just need to look to see who was speaking below there. I'm a little rusty putting together a tent. Since you two are probably experts at this, would you mind helping us with our tents? Then we can give you a hand with yours, which I suspect you probably don't need, but it would be rude not to offer, Emily joked. Sounds like a plan, Chloe agreed. Hold on. These were like newly introduced characters, so I'm just making sure I'm putting the right voice with the right one. And needing to remember if Amy is Jamie's friend or sorry, Emily is Jamie's friend. Okay, Emily and Sarah are with Lacey. Which means I did the wrong voice, so I'm glad I went back and looked. Okay, where am I? I'm a little rusty. I'm a little rusty putting together a tent. Since you two are probably experts at this, would you mind helping us with our tents? Then we can give you a hand with yours, which I suspect you probably don't need, but it would be rude not to offer, Emily joked. Sounds like a plan, Chloe agreed. Many hands and all. Hold on. Okay. Sounds like a plan, Chloe agreed. Many hands and all that. I'll grab Jamie's lamp. That thing has serious power. It's like a floodlight. I guess I know how to pick camping buddies. Everything she does is top of the line. Lacey leaned in and whispered. So we started hanging out when we crossed one another's paths again at the first Rainbow Ruffians events I attended. I'm gonna do that again too, because I didn't like it. Okay, I met her. And since I'm paused, I'll just scroll through and see if anybody has said anything. No. Okay, cool. Okay, I met her a few years ago. I met her a few years back at a teacher conference, but she didn't remember. So we started hanging out when we crossed one another's paths again at the first Rainbow Ruffians event I attended. Even if we had become friends at the conference, Since she lives only a ferry ride away, it's doubtful we would have spent much time together. Jamie let the words hang unsaid. Sabina was kind of possessive of your time, right? And she probably wanted you to spend time with her friends, Lacey guessed. Jamie cringed. Yeah. Chloe has actually been a godsend. I'd lost all my previous friends because I didn't stay in touch with my college buddies. You had me. Why didn't you call? Lacey failed to keep the hurt from her voice. One, you were thousands of miles away. And two, you had Heather and Jeremy. I didn't want to muck up what could be a good thing for you. I would have called after Sabina and I split, but I didn't know if you were planning to stay in Maryland, and it felt wrong to keep using you. I wanted to call you so bad it physically hurt me. Your turn to fully explain. And don't give me that bullshit about me making it clear I needed space. You had to know we broke up. Sabla trended for weeks. It was all over her social media page. I know you followed her and tried to tell me what I already knew. You knew? Lacey asked. I suspected. I'm not stupid, Lacey. When I visited Sabina... hold on. When I visited, all Sabina could do was talk about what a talented actress Blair was, and how they got along so famously. I know in your own way you tried to tell me. I'm not sure why Sabina didn't break the engagement a long time ago. Perhaps she was hedging her bets. She needed to lock in her contract before deciding it was time to finally let go. Plus, she said the last thing she wanted to do was hurt me. I had to confront her and force her to tell me the truth. Honestly, it was inevitable. But you still haven't answered my question. Come on, out with it, Jamie pleaded. I stopped following Sabina shortly after that FaceTime, Lacey explained. No matter what happened, I would have been destroyed. Either I would see plans for your upcoming nuptials plastered I would have been destroyed. Either I would see plans for your upcoming nuptials plastered all over social media, or Sabina parading around with Blair like she was engaged to her instead of you. Both scenarios would have continued to twist the knife. I never imagined you wouldn't contact me after the split if that was the decision you came to. I figured I would be that broad shoulder to cry on or listen to your happy wedding plans if, by some miracle, things worked out. I thought maybe Sabina had drawn a line in the sand and explicitly or implicitly suggested it wasn't okay with her for you to continue to correspond with me. So, now what? Jamie asked. That's entirely up to you. I've said I'm not ready to jump into the dating pool just yet, but that declaration does not apply to you. I should have made it clear how I felt about you long ago. Jamie smiled. And how do you feel about me? You're going to make me spell it out, aren't you? Damn right I am, Jamie teased. Fine. I'm in love with you, and have been for a long time. I fell in love with you when we were on the Love Demand. It's honestly the primary reason I didn't propose to Muriel. I had hoped you wouldn't propose to Sabina, but clearly I misjudged the situation. You didn't misjudge. I fell in love with you too, but I felt like I needed to go home with the person I came with. You know, like the only honorable thing to do is not ditch your date at prom. I've always thought that was an asshole move. Sorry, my kids are being loud.
Hey guys, can you either stop talking or head downstairs or upstairs or outside? Yes. Thank you.
Also, I got ditched at prom, so there's a fun fact in case you were wondering. It's cool though, we're still friends, everything's fine. Okay, that's different than I thought it was. Oh, my hair is wet and I don't like it touching me. Okay, I've always thought that was an asshole move. Why are you not recording? I've always felt that was an asshole move. Lacey chuckled. Well done. I will wear that scarlet A for an asshole with pride, because that is exactly what I intended to do with only the slightest encouragement from you. I'm gonna say that again because it was weird. Rolling off my tongue. Okay. Lacey chuckled. Well then, I will wear that scarlet A for asshole with pride, because that is exactly what I intended to do, with only the slightest encouragement from you. And for the record, it wasn't prom. It was our whole damn future. I know. I've been so stupid and cowardly, Jamie confessed. You're so much braver than me. Thanks for the love. I really appreciate it. You're so much braver than me. But I'm not afraid anymore. I can do it. Let me take you on a proper date. Hey, that's my line. You stole it. Is it? Is that a yes, then? Jamie asked. Lacey cocked her head and smirked. What do you think, genius? If you're so brave now, how about staying with me in my tent? I can't be the only asshole in this relationship. Jamie clutched her chest as if she were wearing pearls. Before our official first date? Hold on, I said those words in the wrong order. Before our first official date? Why, you hussy, Jamie teased. Let me talk with Chloe, okay? I'll feel like I'm ditching her, and it's bad enough that I abandoned you. That's fair. For the record, I will always forgive you, because I know you have a kind heart. I love you, Jamie. I love everything about you, and I think we have a real chance at the kind of future we both deserve. Now you've stolen my line. Jamie grabbed Lacey's t-shirt and pulled her into a toe-curling kiss. None of that borderline friendship crap. I put an extra D on the end of there. I feel like that's one of my favorite things to do, is just add D's on the end of words where they have no business being. Borderlined is what I said. Hello, Kimberly. Thanks for joining. Okay, none of that. Where am I? None of that borderline friendship crap. A first, As first real kisses went, it was the best Lacey had ever had. She was sure she had a dreamy expression on her face. Should we stop being so antisocial? Antisocial. Also, that's Lacey, not Jamie. Should we stop being so antisocial and join everyone at the campfire? I want s'mores. Besides, it's my first time with the Rainbow Ruffians, and I want to make a good impression, lest they kick me to the curb and never allow me on one of these weekends again. It's been years since I've been camping. I've missed it. It wasn't Muriel's jam, so we never went. Something about not having a place to plug in her hairdryer, Lacey joked. No way would they kick you out. For the record, I love camping. There is nothing better than looking at the stars where the absence of light pollution makes it possible. I haven't been a member that long, but they're a great group of women. You're going to love their monthly trips. Chloe keeps after me until I agree to sign up for every single one that they plan. Of course she does, Lacey said. Jamie chuckled. Don't be jealous. We're just friends, Jamie reminded. Who share a tent, Lacey noted. That's only because the first time it made sense for us to ride share to one of these events, we lugged 2 tents. And it was ridiculous when both of our tents could easily accommodate 4 people, Jamie explained. It just made sense to double up after that. Since my gear was newer and in better shape, I offered to share, and she accepted. Okay. Clueless in Scamania. Scamania or Scamania? I think it was Scamania, but I need to look up that town name again to make sure. Pronunciation. Scamania. There we go. Okay. Clueless in Scamania. She held out her hand, and Jamie accepted it. I smell roasting marshmallows. You do not. You smell campfire. A campfire. You do not. You smell a campfire. I'll have you know, I have a very refined nose. I can smell sugar cooking a mile away. Marshmallows over a fire have an especially unique aroma, Lacey insisted as she tugged Jamie. Sometimes I can read through these things without having to stop every 3 minutes. More like 3 seconds, actually. Okay, Lacey insisted. Let's see, where am I? Lacey insisted as she tugged Jamie closer to the fire and the second prize of the evening. No matter how much she loved s'mores, nothing could compare to the first prize, reconnecting with Jamie. Jamie tried to quell her excitement over not only seeing Lacey again, but finally starting their journey to something she knew in her heart was special. Even if she didn't believe in second chances, which she did, her heart overflowed with joy, and that would not be ignored again. Her only trepidation was having to talk with Chloe. She hadn't admitted to Lacey that she had recognized Chloe's crush. I'm sorry, there's a glare on my tablet screen, so I just need to move that. Okay. She hadn't admitted. Okay, there we are. She hadn't admitted to Lacey that she had recognized Chloe's crush and held her off with a perfectly rational explanation for why she couldn't go there. Although Chloe also knew about her feelings for Lacey, it would still hurt that she was willing to start dating again, just not with Chloe. When they reached the fire, Chloe's eyes locked on her and Lacey's joined hands. Jamie saw Emily give Lacey a thumbs-up gesture, but Chloe quickly looked away. The adult version of putting her hands over her eyes so she couldn't see something she'd rather not witness. Jamie turns to Lacey and whispered, "Can you give me a minute?" She gestured with her head to Chloe. "Of course. I feel bad for her, but I know you'll be gentle." When Jamie let go of her hand and crossed the space to sit next to Chloe on the log, Lacey turned to the group and lifted her hand in greeting. "Thanks for letting me crash this party. I'm Lacey. I'm open to learning the best method for toasting a marshmallow. I need this for a research project I'm conducting." Emily waved Lacey over and pointed to an empty camp chair. Soon, Lacey was chatting with the group of women and learning everyone's names. Jamie touched Chloe's arm to get her attention. "Hey, you." Chloe offered Jamie a sad smile. "Don't worry. You don't have to explain anything to me. I get it. I know how you talked about Lacey, and after meeting her..." Chloe let the words hang in the air until she finished her thought. "There is no way I can compete with that. You should stay in her tent. I'll be fine with the luxury version you brought for us. I call dibs on your tent for future trips, though. It's the least you both can do to put salve. It's the least. It's the least you both can do to put salve on my wounded ego. You know I would not have survived these last few months if it hadn't been for you. Thanks for being such a great friend. Don't think I'm going to let you fade into the background either. I gave up all my friends for a relationship before, and I'll never do that again," Jamie insisted. "Too bad Lacey's friend Emily seems cozy with Sarah. She's just my type. Do you think Lacey has any other single friends? Maybe she can invite one to our next trip with the Rainbow Ruffians. I'm not playing third wheel with you two, so I sure hope she has a buddy to introduce me to," Chloe joked. "You know she lives on Whidbey. I'm surprised your paths never crossed before." Chloe shrugged. "South Whidbey is a whole other planet." South Whidbey is like a whole other planet. I live in Coopville. Besides, I used to be as enmeshed. Besides, I used to be as enmeshed as you in my ex's life. Lesbians do that. We shouldn't, you know, because it leaves us high and dry when the relationships don't work. Chloe held up her pinky. "Pinky swear with me that we will never do the lesbian nesting thing and cut out our friends ever again." Jamie ground her pinky with her own. "I solemnly swear to never again lock myself away with one woman, spending all my free time with her, rarely venturing out except during the first month. Come on, you've got to give me some leeway here. We have a lot of lost time to make up for. And sex. Hours and hours, days and days of 24-hour sex. Permission granted to take advantage of the honeymoon period where the two of you never leave the bedroom," Chloe grinned. "I'm happy for you, Jamie. You deserve this." Jamie kissed Chloe on the cheek and said, "Thanks." Glancing over at Lacey, she saw her arch her eyebrow. Jamie smiled, winked back, and mouthed, "It's all good." Lacey returned her smile and blew on the flames where her marshmallow was fast developing a blackened crust. Lacey was good at picking up on nonverbal cues, which was a good thing. A marvelous thing, or else she would have been concerned when Jamie kissed Chloe's cheek. After she blew out the raging fire on her marshmallow, she strolled over to Jamie and Chloe. Armed with a peace offering of graham crackers, chocolate, and her newly toasted marshmallow, she held out the treat to Chloe. "I've prepared the perfect s'more with the optimal amount of toasting." Thanks for letting Jamie and I catch up with one another. I know she came with you. Chloe chuckled. It's fine. I get it. I never really had a chance anyway. But if you don't mind, I think I'll toast my own. I prefer a light brown coating, not fried beyond recognition. Lacey opened her mouth in an expression of exaggerated horror. No way a lightly toasted marshmallow has the proper amount of gooiness. Jamie smiled. I think you're practically perfect in every way, love, but I'm with Chloe on this one. It looks like you electrocuted your marshmallow, and that makes me think of a serial killer strapped in an electric chair. Ruin that joke with my pronunciation. Okay. And that makes me think of a serial killer strapped in an electric chair, Jamie shuddered. Jamie had called her love, and Lacey had gone all gooey inside, just like the marshmallow. She rolled the world around in her mouth, and it tasted perfect. You called me love. Lacey was sure she had an absolutely goofy look on her face. I should enunciate that more. Lacey was sure she had an absolutely goofy look on her face. She didn't care. She was in love. Jamie crinkled her nose. Too soon? Babe or hun sounds, oh, I don't know, not quite right. Lacey grinned. What are your thoughts on darlin', sweetkins, baby doll, precious? I could continue. No, please don't. Jamie shook her head. We have plenty of time to think up something that won't cause me to run far away, she teased. I think both of you are making a massive mistake with the s'mores. Lacey took a huge bite. After she finished chewing, she said, but I'll make you both inferior versions to specification. After she finished chewing, she said, but I'll make you both inferior versions to specification. Light brown? Jamie and Chloe both nodded and smiled at Lacey. As Lacey walked away, she heard Chloe say, please tell me Jamie has a twin who is just. Okay, why are we not recording? Please tell me Lacey has a twin who is just like her. You really got yourself a good one, Jamie. Lacey was careful not to let the marshmallows catch on fire, and after they all had a couple of s'mores, Chloe made a point of yawning before stating she was heading to bed. Lacey and Jamie walked her back to their site and said goodnight after Jamie grabbed her sleeping bag. She was eager to have Jamie all to herself, even if she knew it would be impossible to make love to her with Emily and Sarah's tent set up in the same campsite. She'd waited this long. What was a few more days or weeks, depending on when they'd have that date, or when Jamie was ready to take the next step. Lacey unzipped the outside flap and gestured for Jamie to crawl inside. Both had already brushed their teeth and changed into comfortable t-shirts and shorts. Lacey had her own lamp that she turned on the minute she entered her tent. It wasn't as powerful as Jamie's, but allowed enough light for her to see Jamie's face. Obviously, I can't make love to you all night like I really want to, even if you were ready. I think I'm gonna do that again. I also want to check and see who's here because sometimes my kids stalk me and I want to kick them out if they are. Okay. Obviously, I can't make love to you all night like I really want to, even if you were ready, which I'm not sure about. But maybe we can talk a little, kiss a lot, and snuggle, Lacey rambled. Oh, I'm ready. But you're right, because I can be very vocal. We'll keep everyone awake with my moaning and screaming. Fuck, Lacey hissed. You're doing that on purpose, you tease. Just for that, I'm going to call you Snookums. Jamie laughed loudly, then slapped her hand over her mouth. Slowly removing her hand, she turned serious. Hey, one thing I thought about that we haven't really discussed is the reunion show. At first, I wasn't going to attend, but the prospect of seeing you again was too tempting, even if you were happy and in love with Heather. You keep taking my lines, except the Heather part. Obviously, I envisioned you were happy with Sabina. I only agreed to the show because I wanted to see you again, even if it would be the last time, one last time. Even if it would be one last time, Lacey answered. I don't give a rip what anyone says. We should go together. I'm not hiding anything. It makes sense that we go on the same flight. We'll both be flying out of Seattle. I'm seriously happy they're filming it in LA. The flight to Cook Islands was excruciating. The Cook Islands. The flight to the Cook Islands was excruciating. Not as painful as the flight back. At least you and Sabina were happily engaged. I've never been on a more awkward flight than when Muriel and I returned. Now that was excruciating. Jamie took Lacey's hand. Shit, I'm sorry. How insensitive of me. I'd love to travel to the reunion show with you. I'll even call the logistics person and let her know we'll share a hotel room. You sure? Lacey asked. Positive. Jamie leaned in and Lacey met Jamie's lips. Lacey felt like she was mapping every inch of her mouth with her tongue. The silkiness of her bottom lip was almost her undoing, and if Lacey didn't stop soon, she'd start to grab at Jamie's shirt. Then all would be lost. Panting, she reluctantly broke apart. Shall we zip our bags together? Or will that make it too tempting? Oh, that was Lacey. Okay. Shall we zip our bags together? Or will that make it too tempting? Tempting or not, there is no way I'm sleeping in my own cocoon. Okay, let's try that again. Tempting or not, there is no way I'm sleeping in my own cocoon while you're right next to me. The bags have to be together, or I'm heading to my tent, Jamie threatened. You are such a tease. I'll have to remember that when we are by ourselves. I can say that better. I feel like it wasn't very conversationally. I'll have to remember that when we are by ourselves. Payback is a bitch, you know. Unzip your bag, baby gherkins. I'll put them together. Jamie laughed again, but not as loud as before. I'm not going on a date with you unless I have final approval on an endearment. For the record, baby gherkins is absolutely stricken from the list. I don't even like them. I prefer dill pickles. Fine, Fruity Pebbles. They're my hold on. Fine, Fruity Pebbles. They're my favorite guilty pleasure. Normally, I eat healthy foods, but occasionally, I like to return to my childhood, and Fruity Pebbles are really good, Lacey explained. Jamie groaned. I can see this new list is going to be chock full of various foods. Healthy eating or not, you have a sweet tooth, so I'm in big trouble, aren't I? Maybe. Okay, that is the end of chapter 23. And let me check through Hi Princess, chapter 24, to make sure it's not spicy. Just skimming quick so I can remember what comes next. Apologies. Okay. Let me set up the next chapter. The Love Demand, chapter 24. It's getting toasty in here. Chapter 24. Jamie couldn't have been happier, even if she were the author of her own love story. It wasn't practical to see one another on the weekdays, especially when the end of the school year fast approaching. Okay, let me go back a little bit. Okay. It wasn't practical to see one another on the weekdays, especially with the end of the school year fast approaching and all the things Jamie had committed to. But they'd spent every weekend together since the camping trip. Jamie knew Lacey was the one she wanted to build a future with, even before she learned about Lacey's on-the-sly inquiries regarding open physical therapy positions at hospitals and clinics close to Jamie's home. She'd received several offers and even looked into apartments that would rent on a month-to-month basis, not wanting to be presumptuous or a walking lesbian cliché. Of course, Jamie had promptly squashed those concerns, stating that there was no way Lacey would stay at some lonely apartment when she had a perfectly lovely house Lacey could move into. After all, they'd already lived together for those 3 weeks and were wondrously compatible. Lesbian cliché or not, she had her out. She held out her phone. I can read. She held out her phone and pointed to the U-Haul closest to Lacey's house on Whidbey. After the reunion show, they planned to arrange for Lacey to move in with Jamie. Since Jamie had 2 months off, she'd help with all the unpacking and anything else Lacey needed to make it easy on her. They were also waiting to introduce the young cats to one another, in case they had to monitor them and break up any cat fights. When Muriel had finally moved out, of course the place she'd found didn't allow pets, so Lacey got custody of Buttons. Jamie suspected it was just one more thing Muriel couldn't make a commitment to. She knew that was a petty thought, but probably extremely accurate. They were on their way to LA, and Jamie had upgraded their flights to first class for the big reunion show since the producers were cheap bastards. In Jamie's opinion. I'm gonna put that a little closer. Cheap ass. Yeah, said that wrong. Bastards, not assholes. Cheap bastards, in Jamie's opinion. Lacey had made a huge fuss about it, stating that she was no pauper, but Jamie insisted that their relationship was nothing like the one she had had with Sabina. She'd had to learn over the last several weeks that it was important to Lacey to pay for some of their dates. Equally important was Lacey's need to contribute her fair share to their household expenses, and they were still negotiating those terms. But even that was fun. It was almost like a game where they would both end up giggling at the other's ridiculous proposals. In the limousine that would take them to the hotel, Jamie squeezed Lacey's hand, their fingers interlocked. Are you... I gave the wrong character voice, so here we go again. Are you ready for this? Are you? Lacey asked. I asked you first. Your last conversation with Muriel sounded painful. At least Sabina and I haven't stayed in touch. No contact means no conflict, and that suits me just fine, Jamie answered. It'll be weird seeing Sabina, but oddly, not painful. I'm just so happy right now that nothing will change that for me. Same. I once told someone that in any game like tennis, all you have to do is put down your racket and walk away. No one can force you to keep the drama going. I'm going to take my own advice on that. I need to stop letting Muriel suck me in. Either we'll settle into a friendship, or we won't, Lacey declared. The limo stopped in front of the lobby, and Lacey stepped out first, holding out her hand to Jamie. They had an hour to kill before filming the final segment as a sort of warm-up for season 2. Hotel bar? Jamie asked. We can check in later. Absolutely, Lacey answered. I don't even care if the drinks are on us or the show. I'll pay the exorbitant prices for their fancy drinks. Anything special you want to do tonight after we meet our obligations and do this shit show? Jamie shook her head. No. I've had a lifetime of LA. If we ever return to this pretentious city with its nest of glittering vipers, that will suit me just fine. If we never, did I say ever? I did. If we never. If we never return to this pretentious city with its nest of glittering vipers, that will suit me just fine. I hated every single visit. I would love to return to the Cook Islands someday, though. Jamie waggled her eyebrows. Let's order room service and check out the bed. Quit stealing my lines. The two women giggled as they entered the bar. They found 2 empty stools and made a beeline to them before anyone else could grab the vacated seats. Jamie couldn't believe it was already crowded. As she looked around, she noticed several of the show's participants and a scowling Muriel, Sabina, and her entourage. Sabina and Blair were practically holding court as a crowd of fawning lesbians surrounded their table. Jamie wondered if this was the new crop of participants for season 2. Muriel took several purposeful steps in their direction as Jamie muttered, "Oh no, uh-oh, not oh no." Uh-oh, incoming. She leaned in and touched Lacey on her thigh. Well, if it isn't the cozy couple. Heard you were putting your... I can talk. Heard you were putting your house up for sale. Muriel practically spit out with a hint of venom. That was news to Jamie. Yes, Lacey planned on moving in with her, but she didn't know about Lacey's house. She assumed Lacey would rent it out just in case things didn't work out. She smiled, knowing that Lacey felt secure enough in their relationship to take the leap without a safety net. Lacey had a guilty look on her face. I promise I was going to tell you. I just didn't want to assume anything. Jamie's face blossomed with delight. I feel like I said that with the wrong inflection, so... Excuse me. Hi, Carmen. How are you? I've been seeing your lives and you're working. You're so good, by the way. Hi, Rocky. Thanks for joining. I am live narrating The Love Demand by Annette Mori today, and it is a sapphic romance. Super fun, about like a game show kind of romance. Okay. I just didn't want to assume anything. I was going to tell you. I just didn't want to assume anything. Jamie's face blossomed with delight. It's okay. Wrong voice. I keep doing that today. And I didn't find my spot fast enough. Hi, Misa. Thanks for joining. Okay, where am I? It's okay. Honest. I couldn't be happier to hear that. I might just have to propose to you tonight. I don't like my inflection. Thanks for the like. It's okay. Honest. I couldn't be happier to hear that. I might just have to propose to you tonight. Jamie teased. You're joking, right? Yes. But what if I wasn't? Jamie challenged. A beautiful smile blossomed on Lacey's face. Muriel cleared her throat. So I guess you two are moving in together? Going to be Lacey's sugar mama then? Lacey glared at Muriel. What do you want, Muriel? If you're here to cause trouble, I'll pass. Not playing anymore. If you want to remain friends, then act like it. Otherwise, I have no problem blocking you and cutting you completely out of my life. I refuse to continue this game. Touchy, touchy. Muriel held her hands in the air. Sorry. Sabina seems to be doing well. Her and Blair, huh? I talked to her earlier. She was absolutely glowing. That wasn't the only thing sparkling. Blair seems lovely. I'll leave you two alone. I need to get back to my date. Ta-ta for now. Twirling, she waved and floated away. After Muriel left, Jamie leaned in and kissed Lacey. Don't worry. None of her emotional punches landed. I have everything I want and need right here. I can't wait for us to live together and see marriage in our future. I don't like my intonation again, so... I can't wait for us to live together and see marriage in our future. I might not have brought a ring with me because I can't think of a worse place to ask you than LA. Actually, I think this is Lacey, but it doesn't say. But I don't think Lacey has problems with LA, so... Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna give this to Lacey. Don't worry. None of her emotional punches landed. I have everything I want and need right here. I can't wait for us to live together and see marriage in our future. I might not have brought a ring with me because I can't think of a worse place to ask you than LA. But don't think for a minute that I don't want that for us when the time is right. This should be interesting. Who gets to ask whom? We keep stealing each other's lines, you know. Lacey caught the bartender's attention. Surprise us with whatever drink is your personal specialty. Okay, now I'm confused again because that is given to Lacey, but it sounds like Jamie. I'm confused, guys. I'm confused. Sorry, I'm going back through and just kind of rereading and trying to make it make sense in my head. Sometimes reading comprehension skills are not so great. It should be interesting. Who gets to ask whom? Okay, I guess that was Jamie and... Don't worry. None of her emotional punches landed. I have everything I want and need right here. I can't wait for us to live together and see marriage in our future. I might not have brought a ring. I might not have brought a ring with me because I can't think of a worse place to ask you than LA. But don't think for a minute that I don't want that for us when the time is right. This should be interesting. Who gets to ask whom? We keep stealing each other's lines, you know. Lacey caught the bartender's attention. Surprise us with whatever drink is your personal specialty. You got it, he responded. So, how many liquid fortifications do you think we can pound down before we enter the lion's den? Jamie asked. 3 or 4 if we chug them. That should get us nice and toasted. Lacey joked before holding her hand up and announcing, Can you make them doubles? And keep them coming until we're slurring our words. When Lacey saw the bartender about to make a 3rd drink for them, she let him know she was mostly joking, and they'd both had enough. Being smaller than her, Jamie was a lot tipsier, but Lacey had a nice enough buzz. Oh, come on. But Lacey had a nice enough buzz going and didn't want to stumble into that room. Into the room. Ah! But Lacey, okay, we're gonna do this again. Was a lot tipsier. But Lacey had a nice enough buzz going and didn't want to stumble into the room that, according to her watch, they were due to enter in less than 5 minutes. She slapped down a hefty tip for the bartender and motioned for Jamie to take her hand and follow her. What the hell is about to... Okay. Who is thinking here? I think we're still thinking as Lacey. What the hell is it about ostentatious conference rooms with long wooden tables? Blake Edwards was already sitting at the head of the table, ready to hold court with her minions, sporting her trademark fake smile. Most of the usual suspects had already gathered around the table since it had taken a few minutes to find the room, and they were a tad bit late. Lacey mumbled her apologies while Jamie giggled as she took a seat and swiveled in the chair. She noticed Blair sat beside Sabina and wondered how the hell she had managed to make those arrangements. Lacey understood the show was only supposed to follow up with the original participants, not any added girlfriends. Fucking Hollywood privilege. Saying that again because I kind of got stuck on privilege. Fucking Hollywood privilege. Sabina's hand sat atop the table, and Lacey's eyes zeroed in on the enormous diamond. Holy fucking shit. That's what Muriel was talking about when she made the snarky comment about Sabina not being the only thing sparkling. Lacey had no idea what to do. Jamie hadn't seemed fazed by Muriel's not-so-subtle digs, but Sabina flaunting her engagement ring, but would. But. That's an important word there. But would Sabina flaunting her engagement ring cause Jamie unnecessary pain? She didn't know. She only hoped it wouldn't. I see we have a celebrity guest with us today. What a wonderful surprise, Blake noted. I suppose it would be good to catch up with Sabina and Jamie first. Obviously, things didn't quite work out as you both had hoped. I feel like I stumbled, and she's got to be a good speaker. Needs to be clearer. Okay. Obviously, things didn't quite work out as you both had hoped. Sabina, do you want to give us an update? At first, I was so devastated to learn that Jamie was in love with another woman. I didn't understand why she would propose to me when she so clearly fell in love with Lacey. I should have known when she refused to move to LA. It was difficult trying to maintain a long-distance relationship. Then, when I flew back to Washington to spend time with Jamie and watch the finale... Okay. Then, when I flew back to Washington to spend time with Jamie... Then, I'm sorry, I lost my spot now. Fourth time's the charm? Oh, for the love. Why are we doing this? Okay. Then, when I flew back to Washington to spend time with Jamie and watch the finale of The Love Demand, it was so clear to me. Jamie and Lacey talked to one another practically every day. Sabina turned to Blair and looked lovingly at her. Blair was there for me. We had an instant connection, and the chemistry was too much to ignore. So after Jamie and I split, we followed our hearts. I couldn't help falling in love with Blair. Lacey rolled her eyes and muttered too low for anyone to hear but Sabina. She's certainly in the right occupation. That was an Academy Award-winning performance. Taking Jamie's hand, she caressed it with her thumb. Blake glanced at Lacey, then offered her fake smile again and asked, "It was pretty obvious that Lacey and Jamie had something going on. Jamie, what's your perspective? Do you have anything to add? It certainly looks like you and Lacey have gotten together since the show ended." Jamie took a deep breath, and Lacey was so proud of her for what she said next. I might have a slightly different take on how things unraveled, but Sabina, I can talk, right? But Sabina is correct about one thing. I did fall in love with Lacey, and should never have proposed to Sabina. Lacey was so brave, but I was a coward, and for that, I am truly sorry. I don't fit in Sabina's world. I never did. But that doesn't mean I didn't love her and want to make things work. I'd like to add something, Lacey interjected. Go ahead. This is a safe space, Blake encouraged. Sure it is, you pariah, Lacey thought before launching into her defense of Jamie. There was no way she would let that little bitch off the hook. While Sabina is trying to paint herself as the wronged party here, Jamie and I never slept together before we were free to do so as single people, unlike Sabina. First with Muriel on this show, and then it was pretty damn obvious to me after following Sabina on her socials that she and Blair got together way before Sabina and Jamie's engagement ended. For the record, their engagement ended only a few months ago, so it's pretty disgusting that she uses her acting talents to mar Jamie's reputation. Lacey clapped her hands together. Impressive performance, though. I give you a 10 out of 10. You'll do well. You'll do well in Hollywood. Muriel's laugh was hollow and cruel. Whoa, where's the bowl of popcorn when you need it? This just keeps getting better and better. Lacey turned to glare at Muriel, then tugged on Jamie's hand. I think we're done here. Contract complete. We showed up, gave your sound bites, and now we're going to live our lives. Gave you your sound bites. Darn it. Okay. We showed up. We showed up, gave you your sound bites, and now we're going to live our lives. I would like to thank you, though. I never would have met the love of my life if I hadn't agreed to be on this shit show. Lacey barely registered the shocked reactions on Sabina's, Blair's, Muriel's, and Blake's faces. Maybe they'd edit out her dressing down, but she suspected they wouldn't. She only hoped Jamie wasn't upset with her for sounding off on everyone. She was on a mission to sequester them in their hotel room and make love to Jamie all day and night until their flight out the next day. Once they'd left the conference room, Jamie declared, "Holy shit, that was the sexiest thing I've ever seen. You are so hot when you're feisty." Perfect. Jamie wasn't mad at her. I'm so proud of you for finally standing up for yourself, although you were more tactful than me. It must be that teacher vibe you have. Are you always that kind when your kids step out of line? I didn't actually need you to take apart Sabina. I have everything I want and need right here. Jamie squeezed Lacey's hands. What she said doesn't matter one bit. I won't be the one having trouble sleeping at night from... I won't be the one having trouble sleeping at night for manipulating the truth. It felt good, to be honest, and admit the part I played in the ridiculous drama the show created for everyone. Okay. Goddess, I love you. Let's get checked in and order a shit ton of room service to keep us going all night long. I'm down for that plan, Jamie answered. The minute the hotel room door closed, Jamie was on Lacey, pushing her against the door and grabbing her shirt. Lacey chuckled. I think we might need to close the door here. And why am I getting beeps? Yeah, we are heading into some sexy time. So I am going to head out of the live now so I can report this, or sorry, not report, record. There we go, without TikTok feeling the need to give me warnings. But thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed the reading. And again, this is called The Low Demand by Annette Maury, and it is available on Kindle Unlimited right now. And if you are boycotting, thanks, Misa. I appreciate it. If you're boycotting this, I think you can also get on her website and from Affinity Rainbow Publishers if you want it to not be on Kindle. I'm not 100% sure, but this is being produced for Affinity Rainbow Publishers, so I think it might be on their website that you can download it to. But hopefully see you guys again soon. Thanks for hanging with me.